How's it going? Boots Owen here. I'm here in the garage with this Candy tumble dryer that I found on the side of the road basically when I was driving around. The cable's been clipped off the back of it. I'm just having a look at what's right or what's wrong with it. It's a Candy GCC 580 NBB. That's the model number. Fast forward to the end and I'm right at the point where I'm looking at the bearing at the back of the drum and everything's been taken apart. This video might help you to get into the gubbins of this machine, to see where all the screws are maybe, so that you can get in there, take out the element, take out the motor or whatever, if you need to fix this machine. So hopefully this video will be helpful for you. So I've got the top off and it came off with just 3 self-tappers. And over here you can see some pretty good melty action just right in there. So that's some kind of a switch. It's heavy enough looking cable, so that's your live and your neutral in. And they're going to these ones here, which I presume drive different bits of element. So we'll trace them back and just see where they go. So around on the back of the machine, you have this cowling here that just has a load of Phillips head screws. So I've taken that off. And inside, you've got this box here, which is the element. And you've got 2 thermostats or something up on top. I don't know, it looks like a thermo switch maybe. Well, I guess it's the same thing. So you've got two of these guys up on top, and you've got the fan blower down here, which will be attached to well, obviously a motor, and the motor also on one end of it or the other end will have a belt on it. So if we look up on top, there's the drum and there's the belt. And so if I turn this fan by hand, you can see that that drum goes around very, very slowly. So the fan will spin quickly and the drum will spin slowly, and that's because of gears and gear ratios and whatnot. So I'm going to have a look in here. So I've taken out these screws. Now in my own mind, I guess I've already decided that I'm not going to do anything with this machine. So there's your elements in there, and they do indeed have that black cable going to them and the red cable. So I'm going to presume that that's the sender for the element. And that's all it is really. Like, that's the element there. It's not. That's the whole of the elements in this tumble dryer. You can see it better from the bottom. It's like there is lots of high resistance heating element wire in there, but it's pretty flimsy. Like, you know, it's basically a big toaster element. Basically a big toaster element with a fan blowing air over it. Blowing in here into the back. You see those holes in the back that like a cheese grater? That's the back of the drum. That's the back of the drum in there. So you can see where the light is at the bottom. That's where I've just taken off that element, and the air just blows through this. And then either, well, I don't know which way it goes actually now. So I think it goes from the back to the front, down through here, because the filter should be in here, but that wasn't with the machine. And into this condenser box here, which is missing as well, and then back up through that tunnel there, round to the right, and then up through the fan again. Like I said, so this is missing, this filter and this condenser, so like without those, there's very little to be able to make this machine run, knobs missing and other stuff, so someone's kind of taken some bits off it before they've put it out on the street. So it's not really worth fixing. So I guess we've traced an element problem here. Problem with the element blown out. And you could probably replace that board, but you know, you've got to replace the board, the filter, the condenser box, front lower fascia. It's just not worth it on the power cord, which is kind of easy. It's just not worth fixing, which is a shame, and that's the way it is. So I think I'm going to do is break it apart, take out the motor for later, and just strip out the cables and other bits that might be good for, or more valuable for scrap. So it looks like from these hook things here, we're going to have to take the front off to slide the fascia or the cover panel on the front out to get in there at that drum. So it looks like this screw over here and the screw just in here are missing. So someone's been in here before and decided it isn't worth fixing, I'd say. Which is, well, that's the way it is, I guess. So let's keep going. Basically all I'm doing here is taking out every screw I can see. So I'm going to need to get a Torx screwdriver. Down here on the bottom you've got the motor mounts and some kind of a switch thing. So I'll just unscrew those. Of course I wouldn't do this if I wanted to use it. I'm just taking it apart in this kind of impromptu way because I'm going to scrap it. I'm basically looking for parts that might be useful, looking for metals that might be valuable. I'm just trying to get access to everything as quickly as possible. So it looks like, as well as the condenser that goes in this opening here, there's also another thing missing from the bottom, and that would plumb up against this and be a water tank drawer in the bottom of it. Not there, obviously. So this door is held on with Torx, I think. Yep. No, that's the all around the door there's Torx screws, and that'll be the front and the back of the door. So I just want these two for the hinges here. Over here I've got a little micro switch on the door interlock, which may be worth salvaging. So this plastic panel is held on with 4 of these self-tappers. I like the way this element's just bodged in with, not element, thermostat, or I'd say is what it is, or some kind of a thermistor or something. It's just bodged in with 2 screws at an angle. Let's have a look at that. It's designed like that, but hey, it's pretty chintzy bullshit. That is pretty rubbish. So a little heat sensor there. Pretty rubbishy. Okay, so we got the cables as far as there. What's holding this in? You wouldn't normally recommend doing it that way, but when you're just pulling something apart, it's the simplest way to do it. Now, the drum is loose on the other end, but the belt is still on. So somehow, I can see the motor in here. There's no access from below, so I'm going to have to get this drum out somehow, I guess. Here's something that popped out here. Almost as if it was designed to be a vented dryer as well. So what am I getting stuck on here? Nice and dusty. Still doesn't get us in. So in here there's a pulley for tensioning that belt. I'm trying to think if I could get it off that. It's a little bit more slack. Seems to be enough. Go. That's what it looks like inside. So we've got this motor mount here. Let's pull it off. It's held on to something there. So we're in here, we've got a double pulley system on that belt, which is a bit bizarre, but that's the way it is. So we need to get in there somehow. Little motor there, little capacitor start motor. Say it's capacitor start only, not capacitor start, capacitor run. Got a pressure switch there, I guess that's for the water. Temperature switch over here as well. I don't want the pressure switch. 3 cables going to that motor from the capacitor. Should just be able to lift it out if I could get in under this. Lots of fluff. That just slides here. I think this is going to be mucho destruction. Unless there's a fan blade in this box, just taking it off the end of it. Slides out, and that's out. Can't believe I lost the screw. This motor should somehow come out like that. Yeah. There we are. So just as a final thought, in here is the bearing for this tumble dryer. So this disc here spins around. The rest of it is solid and is the drum. Pressed tin, galvanized or zinc coated or something by the looks of it. The bearing I think is probably just a little bronze bush held on with a circlip with a tiny shaft running through. And very little to it, and it's amazing how they do last, because you're putting 8 kilos perhaps of wet clothes in there and working them, but they move very slowly, so they don't need that high speed action of a washing machine bearing. But there you go. Thanks for watching this video. You might have learned something about how this machine goes together, and that might help you to take it apart.